All right, so good morning or afternoon, depending on what part of the country you are viewing this from. My name is Chris Bass, and I am the Parks Recreation Director for the City of Douglasville Parks Recreation. And I have the pleasure of serving as the president for the National Recreation and Parks Ethnic Minority Society. Today, I have Ms. Teah Rawlings with us, who's going to share some insight from our student committee for students in the field and or those that are aspiring to get in the field in terms of what you can do to help position yourself for success. So we're going to talk about internships. We're going to talk about career advancement and how to leverage resources. So T, I guess we'll start by if you could introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Teah Rawlings. I'm currently a instructor and an internship coordinator in recreation management at Shaw University. Additionally, I served as an adjunct lecturer in the Department of Kinesiology and Recreation Administration at North Carolina Central University for the past 5 years.
All right, so you know a lot about this area that we're talking about today,
Yeah.
basically. So sounds good. Well, I'll just jump right in. First question: tell us what are some effective strategies in finding internships in Parks and Recreation?
I think definitely making connections. Even just starting in your classroom with your professors, especially if you're specifically major in recreation. Um, More than likely they worked in the field before they transitioned to academia. I worked in the field for a long time before I transitioned to academia. So they already have connections, your professors, your instructors. So start there, see what kind of opportunities they have, and then go out until to campus. So you have the career center, um, that can always help with internships and connections. So even just starting on your university is going to be really helpful before you even have to look anywhere else.
Gotcha. That's a good point. So kind of utilizing that internal network on the university. So let me ask you this: how important is it to build up an external network as you are seeking opportunities in the field? I know there are organizations like with us, Georgia Recreational Parks Association, and of course NRPA. How big of a role does that play in terms of finding internships or career opportunities?
Definitely, once you get later in your college career, it definitely plays a larger part into it. Those professionals who are like already working in the field, they'll remember your name. So whether they came to your class and spoke or they met you at a conference, they'll remember your name and they can kind of like, oh yeah, I remember them. They did X, Y, and Z for me, or I met them here. So that's definitely a big part of it as well. Even just connected on LinkedIn. So if you meet somebody at a conference, find them on LinkedIn and kind of connecting there as well, just so they're still on their brain. All of this will be really helpful to continue into the field once you graduate.
Gotcha. So I actually didn't get the opportunity to take on any internship roles. So I guess one question that I have personally and that I think will help someone else, let's say you get the internship, how can you make the most out of your internship opportunity when you're there? I know we have interns here with the city of Douglasville, and sometimes I struggle with making sure they're able to get all that they can out of it. So, what tips do you have with making sure you're getting the most out of your internship experience?
I think definitely be a sponge, and not just focus on one area within parks and recreation. So students might want to just focus on one area that they think is more fun or interesting, so maybe like athletics, but really making sure they see all sides of how parks and recreation runs kind of gives them more opportunity once their internship is over, and also gives them more connections. So that's definitely something I would recommend. And really just being a lifelong learner, taking everything in, really talking, asking questions, it will help in the long run.
That's a good point. So, this is one piece as we're talking about transition from an internship and going into the field. I hear a lot of debate on, what does a resume look like? Should you have certain things on it? I know I've heard some people say, put your picture on it, don't put your picture on it. What are some essential things that you think you absolutely have to have on your resume to transition for whether it's from college to an internship or internship to a permanent full-time role.
So a lot of my students, one, they'll put their high school education on there. That isn't necessary. So just focus on your bachelor's degree, or if you got associates, you can put that on there. But also a lot of students forget about kind of just like the volunteer work they've done or the community activities or like campus activities they've done since they've been in college. That shows like leadership and that you are involved. So definitely put those on there. And also they'll forget their internships. So even if they did a required internship for class, they don't think of it as like work experience, but it is work experience that should be on there because it'll definitely help you get to that full-time role after you graduate.
Gotcha. Okay. So as you've prepared the resume, you have those essential things, and you're awarded the interview. What are some things that would help you prep for the actual interview?
So in general, I feel like in Parks and Recreation, there are keywords that people want to know. So kind of just researching Parks and Recreation, that specific department, that's going to be key. Learning what they do, what they're doing well, and come up with questions in advance because they're going to ask you if you have any questions at the end. So saying you don't have any questions, that's not good. So always ask a question, and really knowing yourself and where you feel fit in this field will set you apart. So be able to draw from your experiences from an internship or from class activities. For example, I teach a event management class, and I always tell my students that this can be really helpful in an interview process, saying that you actually planned an event. So be able to draw on those type of experiences will really set you apart and allow you to get this role that you're looking for.
Gotcha. That's some good advice. That's good. So I guess one of my last questions, and you kind of mentioned it there, are there any resources that are available at your college or university that could really help a student transition into the field that really could help make the transition smooth for
Mm-hmm. I definitely say career center. Most universities have a career center and they have professionals that can help with resume development or interview skills, and just really help get you prepared. But also, again, talking to your professor, because again, they probably more than likely have worked in the field, so they can really draw from their own experiences to help guide you in this transitional period, so you can really accomplish what you want to accomplish post graduation. So those are my two recommendations.
them. Gotcha. Okay. Well, this is good, and I think as we are transitioning out of summer, some in some parts of the country are really just starting summer. I think it's something to think about as there are summer internships. I know we have fall and spring internships, so I definitely think this is something that's helpful as students are preparing. Anything else you want to share before we close out?
Yeah, I recommend just being yourself. Again, being a sponge, a lifelong learner will really take you far in this area. Just learn as much as you can and build those connections and be personable, and hopefully everything will work out.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, Teah, thank you so much. This has been great. If there's if students have any questions, are they able to contact you?
Yes. They can contact me at tia.rawlings@shawu.edu.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Teah. We appreciate you and looking forward to hearing some of the great things that are coming from you and your program at Shaw University.
Thank you.